Hello, I hope you're doing great. As you know, we have been working on real-world apps using MAUI and Blazor. We are specifically building a system named FairPlayCondos using .NET 6, Blazor WebAssembly, and .NET MAUI, also including C# source generators in order to speed up the system development. And the other thing that we have in the system is a shared UI so that the Blazor WebAssembly application and the MAUI application have the exact same user interface, and we can just have one code base for most of the major platforms. Now, before we continue, please remember to visit fairplaytube.pdixrica.com, click the Buy Me a Coffee icon, and select a donation of your preference. This will help us keep the videos and products free for you. So let's continue. Let's go to Visual Studio, and here we have the code. The last thing that we did was registering the condominium contact client services. Remember that we are working on the contacts maintenance for a specific condominium. So now what we need to do is we need to go and create the pages. So I am going to go to the share UI, which is the share project, which actually has all of the pages. Okay, so let's see. Yes, I am going to put the pages there here. Oh, sorry. And I'll create a folder named condominium contact, and I am going to create a razor component or a page named add condominium contact dot razor. Before I forget, one of the things we want to do is inherit from custom base component. Okay, now I am going to create the partial class or the code behind, however you want to name it, for this specific component because I don't like to code or to do uh, non-view specific changes inside the Razor file. I'd rather to do them in the CS file. Okay, things that I want to have in here. Let's see. I want to delete this. I'm going to have a loading indicator is loading. Yeah. And it's going to be bound to a Boolean variable name is loading. Now, the other thing I need to have in here is the model private create condominium contact model. Okay, and we are going to initialize it. And since we added a photo in there, we don't want, or since we added a photo model in there, we don't want this to be null, so we initialize that too. Now, the other thing that we want to do is we want to create the edit form, and we are going to tell it that the model is going to be the variable we just created. Now we want to create the div in here. We want the class to be theme configuration. What's it? Yeah, theme configuration. Divisions, default CSS. Okay, I want to have a label in here, and the class is going to be theme configuration labels default CSS. And let's see which fields we have in here. So we have the condominium ID. So that means I need to retrieve the list of condominiums. We'll go back to that um, in a bit. So the other things that we want in there are the name, last name, and surname. So let's see, name. Let me check if I was using semicolons or colons. Uh, I believe I was on the labels. Oh, this is adding the photos, condominiums, add condominium. Yeah, so we add that. And now we want this to be an input text. Class is going to be theme configuration labels. Labels default CSS. Now this is going to be bound to the name property, right? Now we want to add the last name, and then we want to add the surname. So last name, we change what it is bound to, and this one is the surname, and we change what it is bound to. Now the other thing before I forget, I want to have another division in there because I want to have actually object graph data annotations validator and the validation summary. And this object graph is basically to be able to validate all of the complex properties into in the file in the class, right? So basically properties which are where its type is another object or another class, right? So this validator actually works for that. Okay, and in here I am going to place the button. The class is going to be theme configuration buttons, primary button, and the text will be create contact. Uh, I believe that's too long, but I'll leave it in there like that for a while. Okay. Now the other thing that I need to do is I need to this is for a specific condominium, so basically we need to access this uh, by a route receiving the condominium ID. Okay, and let me check. We want to have something similar to this in there in the class, and we are going to change this in a second. So let me just remove the necessary things. Let's add the constants using this one. It's going to be add condominium context, so I'm going to replace this, and yes, receive the condominium ID. So now I'm going to create that constant public const string at condominium contact, and the page route it's going to be basically admin slash create admin slash um, at condominium contact. That will be the base URL, and then we will have a slash and a long value, numeric value of type long. That is going to be the condominium ID. It's going to map to the condominium ID parameter. Okay, and then the other thing that we actually need to do is create the navigation to this page. So where do I want to have this? So basically I want to have this, or I want to access this from the condominium menu item. So if I am condominiums, single condominium menu, I want to add a new item in here, right? So condominium users, add user, delete, add tenant, I'll add it in here. Okay, so it certainly should not be trash. Let's use this instead, the people one. I need to uh, get more icons for that. Now the page is add condominium context, so the method will be navigate to add condominium contact, and we pass the condominium ID. Navigate to add condominium contact. Okay, so I'll create the method. This will create it in the interface. I'll change the type to void, right? And now I'll go to the implementation for this class. It will tell me that the interface does not implement that method. So I'll implement it. It will be at the end of the file. You see it's in here. And then I am going to copy this, and I'll change this to admin routes. I'll search for contact in here, and that's basically it for that. Okay, so in theory this should be now working and showing me the page. So let's see if I have any errors. No, I'll run the application, and let's see if um, let's see if I can access the page by using that menu item. So Visual Studio is still a bit busy compiling the application. Uh, so let's wait for that to finish. Okay, so the application already loaded. Let's see if I go to the condominiums menu. We go to search for all of the condominiums which are in there. And let's go to the condominium one, and we see that here we have this add contact, which take us to the to this form. Okay, and there is something I am missing in there, so we need to fix the UI. Okay, so let's go back to Visual Studio. So let's see, I'm Visual Studio. Need to fix the UI a little bit. Just a second. There was a seems there were some classes not being set correctly or something like that. Let's see. Labels, default CSS. Oh, generic controls, default CSS for the text boxes. generic controls, default CSS for the text boxes, generic controls, default CSS for the text box, and this one should be okay. Let me run the application again, and we'll see if we can see this better now. Application should load in a second. Okay, let me just log in and I'll show you the screen in a second. Okay, so let's see, let's move to the application. Now it's authorizing, right? Because I already input my credentials off screen. We go to the condominiums menu item, we see the images, we see this one is for the condominium one, and here is the add contact, and in here we see the fields for the that we can use. If I do this, create condominium contact, you see that up here I have all of the validation messages. Now it depends on how you want to do. You can use the validation summary, or you can do the validation message, which are the ones that are kind of next to each individual item, and makes it easier for the user to see. For now, I'm just going to have all of the errors in here up top. Okay, and see, we are missing the file name, the image type, the image bytes. These are the properties for the photo model, and since we still do not have the elements to upload a photo item, these are of course without value. Condominium ID, I haven't passed it to the model, I need to add it. Name, last name, surname, they were not input. Phone number 1, phone number 2, actually I didn't add. I miss adding those fields. I need to add some numeric fields for the phone numbers because we are only going to accept numeric based phone numbers. I need to add a field for the email address, and I need to add a field for the job name. So yeah, phone number. Let's go back to Visual Studio. Okay, here we are in Visual Studio, and I was saying there are two fields for phone number, right? So I'll say phone number 1. This is going to be input number, and it's going to go to phone number 1. Okay, now I'll add the other one. This is going to be phone number 2, and it's going to be bound to phone number 2. The other thing that I want to do is the email address. That's text, so I'll just copy the one with text. Okay, so I'll do this email address. Okay, and we go to that. Okay, email address, and yeah, I need to add the one for job name. Okay, job name, job name, and I'll add that. Now actually the first thing I want to do is upload the image, so that's something that I want to do in there. Let me add or copy the links from the add condominium. Basically, we look for the place where we are letting the user choose the photo. So I'll just copy this. This probably could be a component, but right now it's okay to do it like this. Okay, so let's see. Yes, and I need to change the name of the model, right? Or the variable, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. And this. Okay. 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 And I believe everything is okay in there. So it should allow me to select a photo. Now, one of the things that I need to do is remember that, um, oh, I believe we are not going to need the dropdown. Let's just give me a second. We have the condominium ID. We don't have to select it because we already accessed the page by passing the condominium ID as parameter. And none of the other properties is a foreign key to any other table. So yeah, we don't have to add a dropdown in there. Uh, let's see. There's something I think I am missing still. Uh, we create, oh yeah, edit form, on valid submit. We are going to map it to the on valid submit async method. In here, I am going to create a private async task on valid submit async, and I need to inject in here the service. So basically, it's going to be inject private condominium contact client service, right? It's set in the level so we don't get that message. And the other thing that I actually need to do is inject the toast service so it can show the error messages in case there is anything in there. Try catch exception. Finally, okay. So is loading equals true in there. Is loading equals false in here. In case there is any error, we send it. And if we want to cancel it, we send the cancellation token so that when this token is marked as cancel, this show message and everything that makes use of as receive cancellation token or the same cancellation token actually understand if the cancellation token is actually canceled to stop the execution. Okay, now what we want to do is await this um, client service create condominium contact async. I am going to pass that model. I am going to pass cancellation token. And after I do this, for now, I want to navigate to the main menu for that condominium. So I'm going to inject the I navigation service. Mhm. And well, there are two things I want to do with this toast service. Show success. contact has been created. And this navigation service navigate to condominium, single condominium menu for admin, and we pass the condominium ID. Okay, it tells me that I should make this read-only, so I'll do that, mark it as read-only. Now I'm going to load the application. Now before I do that, I'll just refresh the database. Remember, I'm doing a schema compare. Just give me a second. I'll do it off screen. Okay, I already did. I just paused the video and updated my database so I can guarantee that the tables have the latest structure that I have on my code. And now I'm going to run the application. Let's see. Once the application runs, we'll see it, and then we'll try to go to that page and create a contact. Let's see if I have any errors in there. No, it's still compiling. So let's give it some more time and we'll continue. Okay, so it says the deployment was succeeding. It's loading the application. My application already loaded. Let me just give me just a second to log in into the application with my user. And let's see. Okay, it's logging in. Now we go to the condominium items, we go to the condominiums. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I retrieved the images. I'll go to this first condominium. I'll add a contact and let's see. Let me try to submit this. Okay, and let me choose. Oh, I didn't put a label nor anything in there to say that this is a that should be a person's photo, right? So we add anything just to test him, just to test. So contact one, contact contact one, last name, contact one, name, contact one, surname, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, nowhere dot test dot test. I actually added surname twice in there. Yes, I miss changing a binding and I miss adding the ID. So let's go back to Visual Studio. So here I am in Visual Studio. Okay, we'll add a couple or fix a couple of links for that page. Remember, we need to go here. Okay, there are a couple of links that I missed. So I added these in here, but I never specified or I never add a label indicating that this is going to be the photo or something like that. Labels default. So contact photo. Okay, so that makes it better. And now I didn't modify this one. This was not. I need to see what I forgot in there. So let's see. Name, last name, surname, two phone numbers, email address, and job name. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Of course, the photo model and the condominium ID. Huh. I think I did that one extra. Uh, okay, now to fix the condominium ID issue, what we need to do is um, in the uninitialize, what we are going to do is, let's see, here we want to do this, create condominium model, uh, condominium ID equals this condominium ID. Now it's probably better to do this on the uninitialize async. Oh, sorry, uninitialize. Let me override async task uninitialize async, and I'll return task dot completed in here, and in here I'll do base, or actually, oh wait, base dot uninitialize async, because we are inheriting from this one and I want this to be executed. Okay, and now since now I'm using the await, I don't have to do a return of the task. Okay, and I believe this should be it. Let me run the application again and we'll see. Let's give it a couple seconds more. Okay, the application seems to be loading already. Let me just log in and then we'll continue checking that page and seeing if it is already working. Okay. So let's move to the app. Okay. Now the app is loading. We go to the menu items, right? We navigate through the page. We select the condominium. We select the add contact, right? And now we'll select the photo. It's going to be this one. Yeah. Now, let's see. Contact one, last name one, surname one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, test at test.test or whatever I want to put in there. And let's say something like manager in there. And it seems it actually reached the server. The contact has been created and it returned me to the um, add contact. So I got that was message indicating that the contact has been created, right? And um, we see that here we are in the menu item again, which means that the um, onValid submit async finished successfully, and these all of these lines actually executed correctly. Okay, sorry. That means that all of these lines in the onBody are executed correctly, right? And then, of course, it navigated back to the menu item. So we know that the create actually worked and the data should be in the database. Now, this will be everything for now. In the next video, we will load or we will add the functionality to load or see the contacts list for that specific condominium. Basically, what the list of contacts that we have just created. Something very important is that contrary to this maintenance, uh, being able to see the contact list is going to be a functionality that is going to be not only for administrators, but for all of the users, at least for all of the users in that with access to that condominium, owners and tenants, for example. Okay, now please remember, visit fairplaytube.bdicosta.com, click the Buy Me a Coffee icon, and select a donation of your preference. This will help us keep the videos and products free for you. Have a great day.